Tiote! Incredible!
2-2.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, you lot. Welcome to the Big Toon Chat. I am Kevin, and as always, I am joined by Stephen from Geordie Talk and Dom, the Iceman. Cool as you like. How are you doing, guys? You all right?
Yeah, all right, spot on.
Good, good. We are going to talk about Steve Bruce apparently wanting to stay at the club until 2022, which I really hope it's not true. But basically, I just want to touch on the news that came out earlier today about Claude from AFTV, 58 years of age, passed away yesterday, tragically. A shock to the whole football community. I know I've watched him a couple of times and I did find him absolutely hilarious. He loved his club, loved
Rest
the
in
team.
peace, though.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts and condolences go out to his family and friends of Arsenal Fans TV, because I know how much they adored him. He missed going to the games more than anything else, and he was struggling with mental health recently as well. And I just want to say, if anybody out there watching this at the current time is struggling, please reach out. Everybody's DMs is always open, and it's okay to not be okay, because we all struggle every now and again. I've struggled recently and I've got over it because I spoke to someone about it, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. And I think speaking about it is half the problem solved. It's half the battle won. So if anybody is struggling, please speak out. We are all here. We are all the same people. We'll take 10 minutes out of a day for a cup of coffee or an online chat with anybody just to help them solve the problems that they've got. So yes, rest in peace, Claude. Our thoughts go out to his family at this sad time, unfortunately. Anything you want to add, guys?
No, I mean, I've never really watched Arsenal Fans TV, but I've seen like odd clips of Claude. But it's time to go. And as all the Arsenal fans around him, I thought that was an iconic clip. That I think was. I've never really known of him until I watched that clip about when he said it's time to go. But other than that, rest in peace, Claude.
Yeah, just to add on that, as Kev says, we're all here. We're all, my DMs are open. I'm sure Kev's and Stephen's are. If you need to reach out to anyone, reach out to us. There's many phone lines out there as well for you to get in touch with the Samaritans and the like. And please talk about things, because it'll do you no good if you don't talk about things. And rest in peace, big guy, and thoughts out to family and friends.
Yep, and the main thing is it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
Talking helps solve the problem. But yes, we move on to the news that has been broken today. Apparently that Steve Bruce is going to come out publicly and say that he wants to stay with Newcastle until 2022. Now, I know how much you absolutely adore Steve Bruce, Stephen, so I'm going to go to you first.
Steve for Stephen.
I mean, this must just be... Yeah, I mean, this is supposed... It's the icing on top of the cake for you. This is what you've always wanted, isn't it?
I don't think it is. Bloody hate the man.
We'll never guess.
I think with this new, he wants to stay at the end of his contract, where he's just going to take us even further down. I think. Some people say he'll not last. We'll not have him in the Championship. I think we will. He'll see out his current deal, and then see what happens after his contract expires. Because you know what Mike Ashley's like. If he still owns the club by then, he'll give Steve Bruce a new 3-year contract. So you can make of that what you will. It's just the cynic in everybody, in every Newcastle fan, isn't it? Thinking he's going to do right by the club, and he doesn't. Yeah, can't stand the man. Absolutely hate him. If I was to go on a full-blown rant, I mean, we'd be here all night. But I'm trying to dumb it down for the audience. He shouldn't have been given a 3-year contract. Sorry.
That's absolutely fine. Yeah, you are right, Stephen. He should not have been given a 3-year contract, and I was shocked to find out that it was a 3-year contract. I thought it was only 2. But Dom, do you think Steve Bruce is basically the puppet to Mike Ashley's strings? So basically, Mike Ashley's just going like that, and Steve Bruce is dancing every time he does it.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I think in his first season he did okay. We were expecting a lot worse that first season, but and he was dropped in late. But he's been in this job for 19, 20 months now, and as he said back a few months ago, he's now going to do it his way. That what way was he doing it? That's just a ridiculous statement to make. He's lying to the fans. He's lying to himself that he can do the job. He's lying to Ashley to keep him in the job. He's lying to Charnley and everyone else at the club. Keep me here. And no, the points that we're accumulating, the points per game, and 2 wins out of 21 now, isn't it? 2 wins out of 21.
Yeah.
Where? It's it speaks for itself. Any other club, that's relegation form. So why hasn't he lost his job already? It's just absolutely dumbfounding, and I'm just sick of his fucking mug on our bloody tellies all the time. In the when he does his pre-match and after-match, I've just switched off now. I don't listen to him. He just lies through his fucking arse. Sorry for swearing on your show, but that's the way I feel.
Yeah, I do apologise to the kids in the room as well. I'm going to have to bleep out them little words that you just said. Paul has came on and says, Bruce, I've had it with this plank of wood. I totally agree with you, Paul. I think every Newcastle fan has, apart from the 4% that were found in that poll yesterday to say that they want him to stay and they think that we'll survive with Bruce in charge, which I find that absolutely astounding. He also thinks that there's obviously something else going on here. So, Stephen, do you think that Mike Ashley's got something on Steve Bruce for some reason or other?
There may be something, but I don't think he does. It's he's been brought in as a yes man, hasn't he, Bruce, just to play to Ashley's tune. And fair to Ashley, he's back Bruce. He's got a good squad to work with, and he's not getting the best out of that squad. With all the players we have in that team, we've got Wilson, Almiron, St. Maximan, Fraser. He won't play them all together. He'll stick with Jeff Hendrick in that midfield. He kept playing Jeff Sudden Hendrick in midfield, along with Shelby, another lazy sod. But if we were to play that sort of formation, I think it was a 4-2-3-1, that kind of formation, that's our best formation. That we'd scare defenders half to death if we played that. And he just will not play it. It's took Graham Jones to come in to try and say to him, Steve, we've got to start playing more attacking expansive football. So we can't keep playing sitting 5 at the back every week, so we won't win nothing. That game against Sheffield United all bugs the life out of me when he's set up to try and get a point against a team that hadn't won all season. I mean, that was absolutely shambolic. And even when we went down to 10 men, didn't even look like scoring against a team that hadn't won all season. And 2 wins in 21 games. He should have been gone long ago. He should have gone really after that Sheffield United game. Mm-hmm. In all honesty, or even the Brentford game, the cup game. But I'm still dumbfounded why he's still here. He said he won't walk away because he's a fan, supposedly. He's not a fan. He's never has been a fan. He just staying at the club to take us down even further. He's staying to take us down this season, and then we'll struggle in the Championship next season if we continue with this absolute cabbage-headed clown in charge.
Don, Paul's just mentioned that the 4% from that poll yesterday on Mackems. I do think it's a few Sunderland fans creating a crazy Newcastle account, getting involved with the Chronicle, where they should just stick to their side of the river, if you ask me. And he also says, what's the deal with...
It could be Hull fans, it could be Sheffield Wednesday fans as well in there. It could be many clubs that don't like Bruce.
and I like that.
That's very true. Yeah, that is very true. But he's asking what the deal is with all the new contract being signed. It doesn't make sense now. Me and Steve went over this with Dwight Gale yesterday. I mean, if anything, I think after thinking about it, I think Steve Bruce hasn't given the contract. I think it's someone else higher above, because Steve Bruce doesn't like Dwight Gale. He doesn't play him. So I think either Lee Charnley, Mike Ashley, whoever's given this contract is looking for some sort of offer in the summer for him to maybe get something up to $6 million from, which we sort of debated yesterday. Dom, do you think the same with Dwight Gale? What do you think about that?
Yeah, as you just said there, it's Charnley, but it's also Barnes as well in the mix on that whole thing. Really, Bruce has got nothing to do with that side of things, not even buying players. He is a head coach. He's not a manager. So at the end of the day, you know, he gets given the players that the club wants, and that's the be-all and end of it all. But a 3-year contract for Dwight Gale, if we are looking at Championship now, maybe it was a good deal to hopefully get us back up. But 3-year one is a bit much. I would have thought maybe a 2-year one would have been better. But on the other side of things, also, if we stay up, he keeps some sort of value in himself. So you know, you're not going to lose money over him here.
That's very, very true. I've just been thinking to myself, Dom, as well. How much do you think, if an offer came in the summer for Dwight Gale, how much do you think Newcastle would want for him?
Well, he's what, 30, 31 now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still reckon they get about 8 or 9 million from a Championship club, possibly. But at the moment, no one's got any money, have they? Even the Championship clubs are struggling. There's loads of League One clubs that are slowly starting to go out of business and really struggling. There's League Two ones that are starting to drop. Championship are looking about the same. So we're not going to get much for him. I think someone might come in for a cheeky 6 million, maybe. And I honestly think Ashley would bite his hand off for that. So,
yeah, I think that's what they're holding out for. I think they're holding out for an offer in the summer to try and get rid of him. Like I say, Steve Bruce doesn't play Dwight Gale. Steve Bruce, well, doesn't do anything, to be honest with you, does he? Stands on the touchline, as Stephen rightly put it yesterday, with his twiddling his hands in his pocket, rolling his tongue around his lips and everything like that, doesn't he? But Paul has said 2 million at tops for Gale. Like I say, I reckon 4, 5, 6 million maybe at the most. I can't say we're getting anything more than that. And then he comes in with all the players that are going to go is going to be devastating. Dubravka and Darlow, Lascelles. I don't know. I don't think Lascelles would probably go, and Kraft has to go. Yes, we all agree with that.
Absolutely, Paul.
Who do you think, Steve? Who do you think will go in the summer, Stephen, out of the players?
Well, obviously our big earners, I would say Maxi, Wilson, like Paul just said, Dubravka, Almiron. Basically our big hitters that makes the team Newcastle like. We've forked out money for. And somehow I don't think Lascelles will go. I think it'll stay. Clark will stay. I'm not sure about Darlow though. He might want the chance to be number one because he had a taste of it when Dubravka was out. So I'm a little unsure if Dubravka was to leave and Darlow would get his spot. I'm not sure. But it'll be a big draw for him if Dubravka was to leave and thinking to himself, oh, I might get a chance to be number one keeper in the Championship here. Because he was that under Rafa though, wasn't he? You have to think about that. He was number one keeper under Rafa and he performed well. But I would say all our big hitters or our big game players will go. Maxi, Wilson, Almiron. If Dubravka, I think I'll go, and that's devastating to say because I don't want any of them to go. So I love nearly all of them.
Dom, I'm just going to come to you now because obviously Wilson joined us from Bournemouth, who got relegated. So did Ryan Fraser, and Jamal Lewis joined from Norwich, who got relegated as well. So, what do you think is going through their mind at the minute? Do you think that they're already thinking of the summer to try and get somewhere else in the Premier League?
No, I don't know. It's a strange one because the last couple of times we've gone down, some of the players that have stayed on have actually been good players who come down with us. I mean, you look at the first one, Colaccini, Enrique. There was loads of others that were in there. I mean, Shelby came down, Lascelles. There was still some good players that stuck around. Jesus Christ! Sorry about that, idiots. Yeah, but I can't see the likes of St Max staying. He's not going to want to spend the season in the Championship, is he? Wilson, I don't know. I couldn't say, but possibly. The likes of Lascelles probably will stick about. He's been there before. I can't see anyone else picking him up, so he probably will have to stay. With Fraser as well and Jamal Lewis. I think they would stay on. I think Lewis will do well in the Championship and maybe get a few more games under his belts with the club and to get the feel of the team. Also, I think some players. I think Joe Linton as well. I think if he came down with us and spent the season in the Championship, it might do him well for when we come back up again. We've seen it with other players. I mean, Colaccini, when he first came to Newcastle, looked like a fish out of water. But after the season in the Championship, and then when we come back up, he was possibly one of the best defenders in the league.
He was a great player back in the day, Colaccini. And you mentioned Jose Enrique there. I absolutely loved him. And I was gutted when he left. But Paul's just mentioned that he doesn't rate Fraser at all. He just seems that he's always injured. He is always injured, but when he plays, he Sorry, Don, what was that?
Picks out goals for Scotland, though, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. But like I say, I mean, when he plays in Newcastle, he always seems to graft. He was probably our best player against Brighton. He was the one running around all the time. Nobody else looked interested. But I just want to go back to what Paul said about Lascelles doesn't show any passion now compared to when Rafa was around. That is true, but at the same time, I can't see him leaving. He's the captain of the club, and I don't really know who will come in for him. I think when you look 18 months ago, he was being tipped for England. He was a really, really good centre-back, but now his form's just dropped. I mean, given he's just had COVID as well, is he still getting over that? We don't know. Nobody's came out and said anything. He hasn't issued a statement or anything like that. The players just seem to keep their mouth shut. The hierarchy keep their mouth shut. Nobody gets involved with the fans at all, and it's weird because it's like the club doesn't exist and they only exist behind closed doors, so we're in the background and we don't get involved. Stephen, what do you think of that?
Yeah, well, Newcastle United's always been like that, haven't they? I mean, Lee Chan did an interview a few years ago, I think. He promised to have more interaction with the supporters, and ever since that time, we haven't. We've had nothing but silence from the club. Even with this COVID outbreak that happened, he said possible COVID outbreak. He wouldn't disclose who had it, who didn't, who whatever. Just kept under wraps at the club like it was a dirty secret in a way. And it only took the media to find out who actually come down with COVID and what actually happened. But like you said, we don't get any communication with the club. You say other clubs have communication even over injuries, bad injuries. You have communication that comes out through the club. But with Newcastle, you don't do that. I mean, Newcastle United are famous for its fans and its loyal supporters, but we just feel like we don't belong as Newcastle fans at the club, and you don't tell us absolutely diddly squat. It's just shocking behaviour from the club that they keep us in the dark over everything. It shouldn't be the way a club's run. I mean, if this takeover went through, you could imagine the new owners be upfront and honest with the supporters, what the intentions are, what the plans are. what you tend to do in the summer or something like that. That's all you want, a bit of communication, and we haven't had that at all through this current hierarchy.
Dom, with Steve Bruce wanting to stay until 2022, I'm just going to go completely off subject there, Stephen. I do apologise, but it's really bugging us, this question. If we go down to the Championship, do you think Steve Bruce will perform better in the Championship rather than in the Premier League?
No, because he's showing his colours now. I mean, you look at when he was at Villa. Did he do any good there? No, he didn't do the club any good. Look at where Villa are now since he's left, and he even admitted that himself. You know, look at where Villa are. Oh yeah. Now I've left. They've done well. So that says it all, doesn't it? And you know, but hopefully, I mean, to bring it up, hopefully he won't be there until 2022, because hopefully something might happen with this team. We don't know, but hopefully he'll be gone. But if we're stuck with him for 2022, that's just ridiculous. And I can't see us coming straight back up again. No way. He just doesn't have the tools. He doesn't have the mentality to bring us back up again.
Love your comments, Paul, by the way, and keep them coming in, Paul.
Dom, you are right in what you're saying about he doesn't have the tools, because he's going to lose half the first team at least. When you look at that first team, there's a good 6 players that people will want around the Premier League, not just the Premier League, outside of England and the UK as well. So does that mean the reputation that we have got, Mike Ashley's got, Steve Bruce has got, do you think that they're going to struggle to get players in the summer? Obviously, nobody will want to play for Steve Bruce with the negative tactics and things like that. Nobody want to come to Newcastle the way Mike Ashley's treating the club, because we're absolutely going nowhere. If anything, we're going backwards. And Dom, you mentioned before as well, when we come back up, I think that when is a big, strong word at the minute. I mean, it's a if anything. I mean, you look at the Championship at the minute, it's an absolute dogfight. We spoke about this yesterday at length, me and Stephen, and we both agree that it is going to be an absolute scrap to get out of there. And it has been the last time, even when we were in the Championship. Where do we go from here, Dom?
Well, I mean, he's got no stomach for the relegation fight at the minute, so why should he have the stomach for a promotion? It's just as hard to gain promotion as it is to keep in a league. Really, to go out there and put the fire in the bellies of the players and say, go out there and play and give us the game of your lives for the next 9 games. We want to see some fight. We want to see some ruthlessness. Go out there and play. But he's not. He's just saying, "Oh well, we've done well in that game. We've done okay in this one. I'm happy." So what does that tell the players? Oh, we can just be average and get all the plaudits.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the word average. Absolutely hate that word. I think I'd rather be good or bad, not average. But at the minute, we are bad. Stephen, I'm going to turn to you now, because I was watching you as this comment came on the screen, and you had a little smile to yourself. And I think you're one of them that says Bruce is a good manager as well. Is that right?
You obviously haven't seen my videos, have you, Kev? I mean, he isn't a good manager. Everywhere he's been at, Villa, he hated them. Sheffield Wednesday, he went there. He agreed to go there. He stuck by him. He needed time to get his head straight and all that kind of stuff. And he just left them in the lurch when the Newcastle job came up, and he didn't know how quick to leave the club. I think that was very unfair of him to just dump Sheffield Wednesday after they stuck by him to get his head straight or whatever. And he's not a nice man at all. Even in these press conferences he does, I don't watch them. I just see them on social media throughout the days when he does them. And the way he snaps at journalists for asking just simple questions, he doesn't like the questions that's being fired at him. That's why he's banned media outlets just for asking questions. I mean, if media were allowed in there, he'd find it very difficult. And because he's looking at it through a laptop, he still has to snap at people. Just when fans go back into stadiums, he's been very lucky to keep his job up to now. If fans are in stadiums every week, 52,000 every week in that stadium, the way we're playing at the moment, he'd have gone months ago because they're hounding them out. They shout, Bruce out, constantly for 90 minutes. He just shouldn't be able to at the club. He should be think himself very lucky. He's managing a team as big as what Newcastle is, and the way he's treating the club at the moment, just like someone on the bottom of his show. Just could not give you know what about this club, its fans. If he thought anything about the club and its fans, he'd do the right thing and walk away. Do what's best for the club. Give him a chance to survive in the league. Not stick at the club like he's some sort of big man. Like, can't fire me. I'm going to leave. I want my £4 million if I was to get sacked. He's just being a petulant child in a way. He will not leave. He knows it's good for the club, but he just will not admit to himself that it is the right decision to make.
Stephen, you know, when he come out and he says he won't walk away from the club, right? And it's not in his DNA to walk away from the club. So hold on, did he not walk away from Birmingham City? Did he not walk away from Sheffield Wednesday? Did he not walk away from Sheffield United? Did he not walk away from Wigan? Did he not walk away from Hull? All these clubs he's walked away from, and he says it's not in his DNA. So how are you, Bruce? Walk? You've done it before?
Actually, Dom. Yeah. Like you said, Dom, he's got a history of walking out of clubs. And what's so special about Newcastle that he won't do that the same? Just for if he says he loves the club, like he says he does, which I highly doubt, he should just do the honourable thing and leave, walk out. Nobody's going to think any bad of him. Just retire. No more manager's job. Don't darken anybody's door. Football club's door with him as manager, because he's just tactically inept. He's stupid. He's a clown.
I'm going to ask you this question, and I just want one word answers. That's all I want. Would you walk away from £4 million?
Well, really, if we walked out of a job, our regular day jobs, would we be paid? Would we be paid £4 million if we walked away from our job? No. So why do football managers think they're special to get that payout?
Stephen?
But like you said, we all love the club, don't we? I mean, I wouldn't be bothered about a sudden payout. I wouldn't be bothered. See, I'll admit I've not been good enough for this club. So I'm going to do the right, honourable thing and walk away. Said, he should just come out and say he's not being good enough. Well, I think he has said he's come out and say he's not good enough for this club. So even he admits it himself, he's not good enough. So why is he still here? If he knows that in his heart and soul, why is he still here? Just constantly turning out dross every single week and not having a clue how to change a game up if you go 1-0 down or anything like that, 2-0 down or whatever. He doesn't have a clue, doesn't have a game plan. That's why Graham Jones was brought in, to give him an extra pair of eyes and another brain, all that kind of stuff to help him out. He shouldn't need 3 assistants on the pitch to help him out in a game. It should be him and somebody else, assistant manager. That's how it should be. You shouldn't need 3 people on the sudden touchline telling them different tactics to play. It's just stupid.
It does make you wonder what sort of managerial badge course that he took compared to everybody else, because he seems to be playing football differently, doesn't he? So negative, so defensive, a formation that nobody understands. You've got split strikers, which nobody's ever heard of. You're playing players out of position. So I think when he was on the way to the managerial training course, he must have took a wrong turn somewhere and ended up in some sort of farmhouse or something. I don't really know what's happened there. But personally, I think I would just walk away. $4 million or not, I would walk away. I know how much it means to not just us, but to the whole Newcastle fan base. How well Newcastle actually does. We're meant to be the most passionate fans in the country.
On the split striker thing, I think that's Jones, because he played that at Luton, because that's what Rob Lee said. He got sick of seeing that type of football, having the split strikers, and he almost took Luton down by using them tactics because they just weren't working. So it could be, as Jones said, try this, see if that works.
Yeah.
But
and obviously it hasn't worked because...
Sorry, Kev.
Go on, Steve.
When he's playing this split striker formation, he knows full well who's a striker and who's a winger. He's got Joe Linton on the right. He had Dwight Gale on the left, and he has Ryan Fraser in the middle, who's not even a striker. Surely he's not that thick to realise Fraser's a winger, Dwight Gale's a striker. Switched them, and he took them 55 minutes in that Villa game to switch it. That's all I'll say. Carry on.
It makes you wonder as well, because Joe Linton came out and said that he feels better with someone up top with him, and he keeps playing Joe Linton on his own up front. So, I mean, why, if you think that if someone comes up to you and says, I'm going to be better at this, you'd think about it straight away and you'd try it. At least try it. And then you'd know. If not, then at least you can say that you tried it and it didn't work. But I think Joe Linton knows that he plays better with someone, better than actually anybody on this planet, because he knows the way that he plays. He knows the game he plays. He sort of benefits off people that are up top with him. If he's got no help around him, he's just running around like a headless chicken. And I think Paul is right there in what he says. I believe we are doomed, and I think we are. And he's going straight into the sponsors and sports directing. I'm going to swerve away from that because I don't really want to talk about Sports Direct because I'm not a fan personally. Castor shirts doesn't mean anything to me. What do you think, people? Let's end this on a high. What sort of positive news have we got about Newcastle at the minute? Spurs at the weekend.
Yeah, we're about 5-0. Callum Wilson's going to get 4 goals. Harry Kane's going to be sent off. And then there'll be an own goal at the end from Tottenham player.
I'll give you any price you want on that one.
Yeah. 5,000 to 1 sounds good.
Hey, if Leicester can win the Premier League with that odds, then why can't we? You know what I mean? But Paul, last comment. Paul, Joe Linton's like a damn cart horse. He is. He's just running around like a headless chicken. And he's just came in there with saying that we're going to get beat 2-0 off Spurs. I think it's going to be more than that personally. But Paul, you seem to be one person plus someone else watching. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. The link is below. Stephen, Dom, what's your plans for this evening? Anything exciting?
Nothing exciting for me. I'm going to have my tea and I'm going to relax and try not to think about Steve Sutton Bruce.
Good luck with that. Tom? Probably about the same. I'm just going to try not to think about Newcastle United full stop, honestly. As I said before, I'm not going to bother watching the games. I've had enough. I don't want to watch that dross anymore. Yeah. So, if you want us to end this on a high, I'm going to go. We're going to beat Spurs 10-0. How are the lads?
Come on! Well, I'll have a pint of what Dom's had, but yeah. I got told earlier on that I'm watching the Great British Bake Off tonight, so that's basically me. A fiance makes my plans. I'm not allowed to, so yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm sure I'll see you through the week sometime, if not through the week on Sunday Night Live. But thanks again for joining me as always. Dom, I'll let you get off to your hot dogs. Stephen, you can go and think about Steve Bruce, and I'll leave everyone with just a smile.
Steve Bruce.
He dreams about it at night.
Can I just add something before we go? It's been great to have Paul's comments in here tonight. I mean, it's been good crack with him to tell us his thoughts. It's nice to have comments in the chat. Thank you so much, Paul, for joining the live stream tonight to talk about all this with us. We really appreciate it. And you're doing the right thing, subscribing to Kev's channel. He does a lot of good videos. He just needs to get his subscribers up.
Preach. Yeah, I mean, if you want to subscribe to Stephen's and Dom's channel, the link is below in the description as well. But thanks again, guys, and have a good evening. Stay safe, and I will see you on another video soon.
Woo! Yep.
Adios.